Top of the morning, guys. I'm at an undisclosed location in the city of Huntington Beach, California. I just wanted to shed some more light and give a little more color around one of the last videos I had uploaded regarding Guitar Center, or really any sort of used gear purchase. A lot of times you'll get a small warranty, just enough to make you comfortable to make the purchase. You're certainly not going to get a manufacturer's warranty when it comes to a used piece of gear. And if memory serves correct, you're only going to get like a 48-hour warranty with a used or vintage gear purchase from Guitar Center. So given their track record, that's not going to leave many people with a lot of confidence. And then it'll sort of force people to the fringes to go to some of the more expensive retailers of vintage gear. And what do you get with that expense? Well, you usually get an in-house tech who's gone over the amp thoroughly. You'll get a full disclosure in many cases of the amp's current condition and the work that was done to it. And maybe you'll get a little bit of history, which is preferable. But in some cases you don't. Just some things have occurred to me over the last couple of months. I've had like 3 or so instances where I've had to advocate for customers to either get a refund or to get the service taken care of. Good morning. To get the service taken care of on the house, so to speak. Sorry, I'm distracted. And I was thinking, I just wanted to put this out there that when you guys are making used gear purchases, if you're not well equipped with technical knowledge, then maybe you should, to do an assessment, you should lean on your local amp tech or a trusted friend. You're going to need an advocate in many cases. So why not, you know, if you have a good relationship with a local amp tech, why not lean on them for that? And maybe there'll be a small fee. Maybe that'll be something that I offer. I've often told my clients, let me know before you purchase something. Send me some pics, and then I'll give you a list of questions to ask based upon what I see. You know, but I don't see everything, especially if it's not opened up and I'm not testing it or observing it. So maybe that's something I'll offer as a service. You know, just make a contact with a local amp tech. Just keep in touch, form a good relationship, try to develop one. A lot of us aren't good socially. I mean, that's just me. I'm super awkward socially. Fine on the camera or on a stage somewhere, I'm fine. But just don't talk to me one-on-one. I'm super awkward. But develop a relationship with someone you can trust, and just have them in your pocket for moments such as that. You're going to need a guy to do a thorough assessment and write-up if you plan on going head-to-head with a major retailer. I've done it twice. I was successful with Sweetwater twice, and with Paul Reed Smith one time. It's good to have someone do a thorough technical assessment and then document it in an easily consumable format. So you present it in a very nice way, don't be combative. And 9 times out of 10, well, 3 times out of 3, at least, they're gonna be willing to help you out. Everybody just wants a good transaction in life. So just thoughts to ponder there. And yeah, I'm thinking of this, getting a spool of this stuff. Look at that, for heater wiring in some of those old Fender chassis. Just a little more context to go along with what might be perceived as a ranty video. And why am I wearing sunglasses all the time? Well, there's 2 reasons. I told you guys that when I'm in landscape mode, I have an eye alignment issue. I don't know which way to look on this thing. My eyes start moving. And then on top of that, I'm so tired all the time. My eyes look like a stack of pancakes. It's awful. So this is what you're gonna look at. So I don't want to be the kind of a guy to give off a negative vibe. That's not who I am. That's not the atmosphere, and it's not what I want out of this channel. I don't like complaining. There's enough drama in life where you don't need to consume it to get your fill of it, right? You don't need that out of me. That's not what this channel even is. I'm a solution man. My background, I'm an electronics engineer, right, by education. I ended up in a rock band. I worked for an aerospace company along the Gulf Coast. That's down in Louisiana and Mississippi for you guys out there who don't know. And I designed and created ceramic components for some electronic systems that would end up in whatever satellite or even on the space shuttle. They were making the solid rocket boosters down there. I wasn't touching that stuff. But for some of the things that would end up in orbit, I had my hands on the little ceramic components. I didn't do that for long because I decided I hated my life doing that. I ended up in a rock band. Next thing you know, Hurricane Katrina comes in 2005. I ended up moving to California and going on tour around the world like 4 times. I've seen it all. I decided it was time to put the kibosh on that. I had seen everything I needed to see. I didn't make it big, but I made it big enough so where I could see a lot of things. And it just wasn't the lifestyle that I wanted. I ended up in corporate America. I worked for the Walt Disney Company up at the Glendale campus in California, which for you goons out there, that's next to Burbank. And what did I do? Well, I was a program manager, and I worked with 4 of their, I would say their largest business units and the oldest ones. I worked with the Imagineers and WDI group, which is Walt Disney Imagineering. I worked with their consumer DCP, Disney Consumer Products division, all concurrently. I worked with DPRD. That was a group that did, it was Disney Parks and Resorts digital or online. They were changing over. And then there was another group out of Florida that I was working with that I can't really talk about, that I don't talk about. I performed a lot of change management, pushing program adoption across some very stubborn groups of people in the entertainment industry, which was super interesting, and talent acquisition as well. A lot of problem solving. So that's my background. And well, what does this have to do with amp teching? Like, what are you doing now? Well, that's what I'm doing. I was doing a lot of the program management stuff on contractual basis. I would basically build out a program. I would teach you how to run it, and then you babysit it, and I'm going to move on and do that for another organization. I would just do that the whole time. But there was downtime in there. And then what I had done previously in 1999 and 2000, as I was going through school, I was working with a buddy, doing the most rewarding work in uptown New Orleans. I would work part-time for a buddy who had a company called European Restorations. And what were they doing, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It was a one-man shop pretty much. He was restoring antique furniture. He would literally, his workspace was behind an antique shop off of, what street was that on? Off of Magazine Street. And man, I got stories for y'all on that with Harry Connick Jr. and Paul Connick, the DA at the time in New Orleans. I got some funny stories for another time. But we would open up crates of unknown things that the antique, whoever was doing sourcing and purchasing at the antique shop, they would receive these crates from overseas, and we would crack them open, and then there would be amazing things like furniture from like the 1700s, and you would find like handwritten notes inside, underneath the bottoms of drawers, underneath like drawer liners, you know, handwritten from the 1700s, all kinds of cool stuff. It was the coolest stuff. But I was doing that for a while. Ended up going to school. Got out of there. While I was there, the guy's name was Tommy, and Tommy, if you ever happen upon us, thank you, dude. You changed my life. You really changed my life, dude. Thank you. Tommy gave me an old tube amp from Stromberg Carlson phonograph. It was the amplifier portion in the chassis. It wasn't working, so he knew I was getting into electronics at the time. So I just took it home and I opened it up, and there was a schematic glued down to the bottom of the chassis, and I repaired it. And then I thought to myself, well, you know, why not pursue this as deeply as you can and become an engineer? And that's what I did. But turns out I hated the compartmentalization of the work. I hated working in a fucking cubby, pardon my French. I hated the whole thing. So I just started doing guitar amps. I was designing, I was cloning. This was back when like cloning was just starting out, and I just got into it. I didn't invent it, but I was there when it was happening, and I just wanted to ride that train, and I did. That was a good time. So that's the extent of my professional engineering. I worked at an aerospace company. What a circuitous way of telling you guys some information about why. And this is the germane part of the conversation. Why an amp tech or an engineer with corporate experience navigating that bureaucratic organization, that type of organization rather, why that's all Guitar Center needs to not only fix its reputation, but also float the company. So what's it gonna take? Why do you need an amp tech? Why do you need an amp tech? You want to fix the reputation? Guitar Center, pardon me, let me back up. Part of my old job, like at Walt Disney or any other corporate location I was working at, part of my old job, good Lord, you guys do not know what I'm even looking at off to the side right here. My God, I can't even show you. Good Lord. Maybe you just saw it. So, why do you need an amp tech? Well, part of my job and my experience and my strength is to see what's there and to see how it can be optimized to do something else or to do its intended purpose better. Guitar Center, this is what they do. I know the management at Guitar Center here in Southern California. I saw the need. I reached out to their CEO via LinkedIn, but who's checking LinkedIn these days? It's turned into Facebook. I'm not getting a response, and why would I? I'm just some goon, right? But it's probably like, hey, what does he want from me? Well, it's not what I want from you. It's what I want to do for you, because I'm on the receiving end of all the crap business practices you have. And I want to fix it because these are the customers that I care about. This is my business now, so let me help you fix it. I don't need to stay there, but let me help you fix it. Because I'm already doing what I want to do with life. So, Guitar Center, when they either receive a piece of used contemporary gear to whip it around to throw it out on the retail floor, or they receive a prized vintage piece of gear that they want to whip around and put on a retail floor or post it online. What do? You want to know what they do? This is coming right from the technical team. They just turn it on, and if it doesn't catch on fire, they dust it off, and most of the times they don't even give it a cursory wipe down. They just throw it right on the floor. You plug it in. When you get home, you plug it in. You have 48 hours. That's all the time you have to figure out if it's going to blow up on you or not. And what they're telling you is, Hey, we got a team. You see that door back there? We got a team of guys back there that are just, they're tearing it down. They're going through it from input to output with a fine-tooth comb. They got scopes back there. They got every kind of meter and test lead you could imagine back there. And we're using it. The amp that you see here is good to go for 48 hours, or we'll take it back. That's what's going on back there. And they're hemorrhaging money, and their reputation has bled out. There's nothing left. There's a credibility crisis. So what does that mean? They better fix it. They need to fix it. It's a shame that when your name is Guitar Center and you have the footprint that they have, that you can't take the apparatus that's in place and optimize it for a very, very small amount of money that's already going to it, and have a dude go in there and optimize it for you. I could stand that thing up in 3 months and have it fully operational. I could have it staffed up. I need 3 dudes. That becomes your hub. It's driving distance between the outlets anyway. Then you take the most proficient guy there, and a guy like me who does the implementation or the transformation hangs out for about a year until there's 3 locations. You take the most proficient dude from the 3 locations. The other guys are competent because they've been through the training process. They're training up to the new standards, and they're technically competent. They don't need to be engineers, and they don't need a lot of gear. You've already got the gear that you need there in most cases. That proficient guy gets in his car, he goes grab a hamburger, and he eats it on the way to the other location. And what does he do? He interviews the staff there, and he finds the most technically proficient one. Hey, do you want to do this job? I have a new position that that's materializing. I want to run it past you and see what you think. If the guy's in for it, he gets trained. If he proves himself competent, he becomes a supervisory or leadership at that location. And then you help him learn how to interview and hire and train up to the new standards. There's got to be standards, Guitar Center. And then you proliferate across the country. And you have little hubs that are within driving distance of each other, so that when you get used gear, you don't have to lose money and trust and credibility with the consumers. You could actually have the talent in-house, and you could have a sustainable mechanism for creating and retaining the talent you need. You can have that in-house. Imagine that, Guitar Center corporate. I know you're going to say, hey, we're already doing that. You're just ignorant. Well, if you're doing it, it's not working. You want to know why? Because you guys keep putting food on my table. And you keep feeding a lot of us out there that are doing it. We have to pick up the scraps and fix it. And that's fine because we like it. That's totally fine. You guys have a credibility crisis. And it's funny that in this day and age of people having availability, access rather, to all the information that you thought you had control over. In this day and age, everything's transparent now because people are talking and people are filming and people are sharing, socializing information, so that what comes out of the corporate spin house, it falls on deaf ears unless you're just out of school, unless you don't know any better. So how ironic that a lowly amp tech who just wants to help you guys reorganize and optimize what's becoming a vestigial appendage, how funny is it that that's all it takes to fix the entire corporation because you're bleeding. I've like everybody else who's probably swimming by and watching this thing, you don't want to see my tired, melty face for nothing. You've been to a Guitar Center, and honestly, there's not a lot of criticism about the layout of the store. Maybe there's not a lot of criticism about the sourcing and procurement of the items that they're selling. Where's the criticism? It's in staffing. And it's not because us musicians are just irresponsible and untrustworthy goons and mutants. It's not what that is. It's because nobody seems to give a damn. And if you want your credibility back, you have to demonstrate that you give a damn. So I gotta go. Start giving a damn, Guitar Center.